Hi, it's Pat Gillis here. And have you ever tried to learn a foreign language? This is Harrison, by the way. He would love to be your tutor. At any rate, my mom was French. Her first language was French, and she was from Cape Breton down in Nova Scotia. So think Acadian French, more like you might hear in Maine or perhaps Louisiana, not Parisian French. At any rate, so it was kind of a unique type of French, but I really wanted to learn it. And I remember thinking, the best way would have been to be able to kind of go total immersion, to just sort of be around people that spoke French and, try to learn it that way. Of course, I didn't have time for that, so I tried to learn it with books and things, which made it a lot harder. But at any rate, I find the same thing kind of happens with my beginner students when they come and they want to learn the horse's language. I do think that it's an important prerequisite to really have a true relationship with horses, is to understand what the horse is trying to tell you. So the horse's language is pretty complex, but it's body language mostly. It's not to say they don't have vocalizations, because they do, but scientists believe that when the horse came out of the forest, once he became the horse that we sort of recognize now, he came into the open plain, and his need for vocalizations was less pronounced. If you will look at birds in a tree or whatever, they're talking all the time because they can't always see one another. And so animals in the forest or in trees or whatever tend to have more vocalizations than open plain animals. And the horse started to rely very much on body language. And as you probably have heard or know, the horse is a master at reading body language, ours and his colleagues. At any rate, so one of the easiest ways to learn the horse's body language is to just watch Horses at Liberty. It's kind of like our sort of equine version of total immersion, right? You really want to just spend time watching the way horses talk with one another. And it's quite subtle sometimes. Like, it's not always big grand moves. Sometimes it can be, the flick of a tail, a flick of an ear. But it's fascinating. The more you watch it, the more you start to recognize the grammar, the syntax, and the overall message that the horse is trying to give. And that's why we provide in our digital course like hours of footage of our horses interacting, because it's so important to get to understanding what the horse is trying to communicate. So even though it can be daunting, and even though total immersion can be hard, to do all the time, like who wouldn't want to just watch horses all day? But unfortunately, we all have to do other things sometimes. But every opportunity you get, I recommend that you do it. And what you'll find, the great thing about it, is that I might have been able to learn French. I didn't actually, but had I been able to learn French, that wouldn't have helped me if I'd gone to Germany, and it wouldn't help me if I'd gone to Spain, But with horses, if you learn horse language, that's the only one you have to learn, because they all speak the same language. So that makes it a little less daunting, perhaps, and more of a worthy challenge. At any rate, spend your time if you can, watch your Horses at Liberty. Remember to thank your horse, and we'll see you next week. Do you mind? Don't touch the camera, the goof.